So good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the Plastic-Free MKE's May meeting on plastic-free parenthood. My name is Steven Zabrozek, and I am one of the core organizers for Plastic-Free MKE. So Plastic-Free MKE, many of you found us, so you may be familiar, but if there's some new faces in the crowd, then for you, Plastic-Free MKE is a coalition of Milwaukee area organizations, businesses, volunteers, and community members, all working together to turn off the tap and eliminate single-use plastics in our community. We have tons of different ways to volunteer. We'd love, if you're not involved already, for you to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, and figure out some ways to get involved. So I'm going to pause here just to do a little bit of housekeeping. So tonight's format is going to be a panel discussion format, and just wanted to pause and say, it's plastic-free parenthood. This is a humongous topic, and we're going to have a great discussion with 4 badass moms, but we could not possibly hope to even scratch the surface on this in just an hour of discussion. So we're going to try to get as much out there as possible, as much great information. And as you have questions along the way, please feel free to submit them in the chat, and we'll try to address everything via our virtual Q&A, either in the chat or during our spoken Q&A towards the end of the program. And then anything that we're not able to cover, we'll follow up with via email, and along with a resource list. So another thing, just remember, treat yourselves with kindness, compassion, as we all grow together in our plastic-free journey. So that's housekeeping. So I'm really excited to moderate this panel discussion. I've been looking forward to this. You can't know how long, because I believe that it's one of the most exciting and important meeting topics that we've ever had with Plastic Free. And as a member of Plastic Free MKE, the environmental movement, I've heard the question, why do you do this for? Why do you want a clean environment? And often the answer is for future generations to have a great life, some version of that. And I believe that parenthood is really the space and time where our aspirations and our goals for our future generations meets the time when we're passing down our values, we're passing down our traditions, we're also passing down some of our problems. And hopefully along the way, we're passing down the will to continue the fight to our next generation. So I think this is a really important topic. And with that in mind, it's my pleasure to introduce you to 4 incredible women, entrepreneurs, leaders, and plastic-free parents. We have Meagan Johnson, the founder and executive director of Milwaukee Diaper Mission; Jenna Meier, owner of the Glass Pantry; Meenal Atre, co-founder of Plastic-Free MKE and the corporate and foundation relations manager for the Urban Ecology Center; and Aureal Ojeda, owner of Outwoken Tea. And first, we'll let them introduce themselves in their own words. Thank you.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Meagan Johnson. I'm the founder and executive director of Milwaukee Diaper Mission. I am a mother of 2 little ones. Evan is 1 and Owen is 4, and you will probably hear them upstairs above me during this presentation. So thank you for your patience. Like I said, I'm a parent. My husband Taylor and I have been raising these little boys with a plastic-free mindset in mind. And, my passion, obviously, based on the organization that I founded, is diapers. So we are a cloth diapering family. And I'm here to share some information about cloth diapering and about Milwaukee Diaper Mission, which is a new organization that I founded last year. So next slide, please. So Milwaukee Diaper Mission is a basic needs bank. We are a nonprofit organization that supports families in Milwaukee with both diapers and period products. And we offer a cloth option to families. We really believe strongly in dignity of choice and making sure that families and individuals have access to reusable products whenever they are hoping to have them. So the way that our organization functions is we partner with local social service organizations. So these are like food pantries, mutual aid groups, other social service agencies that have already been providing diapers and period products to the families that they serve. But because of the model that we've created in Milwaukee, we're able to provide them with more, a higher quantity and higher quality of products for the families that they serve. So we are a brand new organization. Like I said, we launched in September of 2020. And we have really hit the ground running trying to do this work that should have been happening long before we ever existed. So most large cities around the country have a diaper bank. And when I discovered that Milwaukee did not have one, as one of the poorest and most segregated cities in the country, it shocked me that this didn't exist. And so I put a team together last summer to make this a reality and be that support for the families that deserve this kind of support. Next slide, please. Thank you. 1 in 3 families struggle to afford diapers, and 1 in 4 menstruators struggle to afford period products. So these are actually pre-pandemic statistics that we've learned. We're not even quite sure what the impact of COVID and the pandemic will have on families that are struggling already. And so that is why we exist as an organization. Next slide. So we are members of the National Diaper Bank Network and the Alliance for Period Supplies. And those are national organizations that support basic needs banks like Milwaukee Diaper Mission. We are also members of Jake's Network of Hope. So Jake's Network of Hope is a local organization here in Wisconsin that supports individuals and organizations all over the country and all over the world, really, with both disposable and reusable options. So Jake's Network of Hope supplies our organization with cloth diapers so that we can send those out into the community. We've also just founded a cloth diaper coalition. So there is a handful of other organizations around the country that offer cloth diapers to families. We have all come together to try and figure out a way to make cloth diapering more accessible and achievable for all families.
That's an amazing organization. What is one fact that you think might help sway parents to who are using disposable diapers today toward using reusable diapers?
I think there are a lot of factors. I think that there are modern options now. Cloth diapers are not as old-fashioned as they used to be. As you can see in these photos, they're really cute. They're really easy to use. They can be affordable and they can be accessible to everyone, especially with an organization like ours.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. And we'll follow up with some ways that you can get involved a little bit later.
Sure.
All right, Jenna.
Hey guys, my name is Jenna Meier. I am the owner of the Glass Pantry. We're a zero waste bulk store here in Milwaukee and Walker's Point. This is my family, my husband and my son Avery, who is 2.5 now. But yeah, the Glass Pantry's been open for about a year now. You can go to the next slide. And our goal is to provide low waste alternatives to household goods. So we focus on organic food, personal care items in bulk. So like shampoo, hand soap, all those kind of things, and household cleaners. So a lot of detergents and stuff. Yeah, one of my main things as a parent was just not having easy access to low waste options for these things. And it was a bummer because even as a stay-at-home parent, I was like driving all over town trying to find, low waste options, and there wasn't enough, which is why we're here now. So we really prioritize organic in this shop. We prioritize local as much as we can to support our local economy and to cut down on, emissions and all that. So yeah, we just want to create a community space that's super welcoming. We're really family friendly. Bring your kids here. It's really fun. We have toys. And yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, these are our community partnerships. So we are a drop spot for Meagan and the Milwaukee Cloth Diaper Mission, or the Milwaukee Diaper Mission. So you can bring disposable and reusable products here, and we will get them to Meagan. You can also drop off your cloth diapers that need to be repaired, and Susan from Cloth Diaper Repair Service will fix them up for you and bring them back. And then, yeah, we've got lots of other community partnerships. You can pick up CSA boxes here. You can pick up soups here. So check us out. GlassPantryMilwaukee.com. I recognize a lot of you. I'm sure you've been here. So, yeah.
My favorite store in Milwaukee.
Love you.
All right. Thank you, Jenna.
Of course.
Meenal?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Meenal Atre, and I have been involved with plastic-free MKE since the beginning of this movement. I used to work with different organizations, and we all got together and decided to start this wonderful action-oriented group. That's my son there, Moran. He is 7 years old. I also have a very wonderful husband. But I prepared this presentation on my work laptop, and that's my work photo. And this happened to be a photo that they took of him. So both were there, but he is not pictured here, but he also is a very supportive, wonderful person that I live with and share this house with. You can go to the next slide. Some of the background that I have worked with in Milwaukee. I started a boomerang bags project first time in Wisconsin. This was a project that started in Australia with a mission to sew reusable bags and have them available at different locations for people to borrow and bring back. So hence the name a boomerang bag came from. I did not coin that term, so can take credit for that. But we started a project in Shorewood and started collecting fabric and made over 3,000 bags over the time. We also helped start 2 more groups, one in River West, and then there used to be another group at Outpost Co-op in Bayview that used to make these bags. And we currently have a rack available at Shorewood Library because we realized that library also uses plastic bags. And so people bring the bags, take the bags from the rack and then use it and bring it back when they come next time. I also, so before plastic-free MKE, I had my own Facebook page, Milwaukee Without Plastic, where I shared tips and ideas on how to live plastic-free life or reduce plastic in your life. Obviously, my parenting journey as a plastic-free parent has been a huge learning curve. There was not a whole lot of support that I could lean into. And like Jenna mentioned, I had to just go all over the town to find simple things. So I'm really glad that there are resources available today that we do. For plastic-free MKE, I've been doing parenting workshops. I have done workshops for reducing plastic at work. I used to do the trash talk when the schools were in session, where I would go with different schools and talk about how to reduce plastics in cafeterias and classrooms. And also, if you're looking for some personal ideas or tips, then I also share those on my Facebook page, Milwaukee Without Plastic. So that's, yeah.
In your current position with Urban Ecology Center, what are some of the ways that they support parents and child education? Just a quick summary.
Yeah. So I work as a corporate and foundation relations manager for the Urban Ecology Center, but I also do a lot of plastic-free education for the center as well as their programs. And Urban Ecology Center is part of our plastic-free MKE coalition. They used to provide us a meeting room to meet for our monthly meetings. But in general, they're trying to incorporate education in their programming as well, on how to educate parents and participants on how to go plastic free. It's also a bike benefit community, so we do a lot of bike benefits as well. But I think currently the biggest benefit has been working from home and not, you know, carrying a lot of stuff with you. But I think many of the urban ecology members lead by example, try to live zero waste life, bring their own containers, water bottles, stuff like that.
Wonderful. Thanks, Meenal.
Mhm.
Aureal? Aureal, I think you are on mute.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Aureal. I'm the owner and founder of Outwoken Tea, where we are changing the world by changing people's minds. Next, please. I currently operate the business between me and my son. So me and my son became innovative with the packaging, and we took my years of experience within construction to create something good for the earth and good for the future and our children. Next, please. So I challenge you to challenge yourself to create better conscious decisions to impact the environment in a positive way. Next. And it's really just to create awareness with our innovation and impact and economic growth. Next, please. So with my son, I teach him all the time to reuse his clothes. Like even if he thinks that they're not cool or something, we reuse it, whether it's to clean the car or to clean something or to mop, and to use all of the containers that he has and not shoot them away. And really educate him on what's recyclable, what's not recyclable, and how we can really reduce that to create the best impact for the future in general. Next. Is that all I have for my slides?
Think so.
Yep, that's the last one.
Let me just ask though, so you founded your company with your son.
Yes.
So what is one of the ways that that experience has either strengthened or impacted kind of the parent-son relationship?
Definitely, definitely. Well, he has definitely seen the struggles and definitely seen the ups and the downs and the side of business and innovation. So it's definitely opened his mind to alternatives that probably the average 12-year-old isn't aware of, and all the little details down to tape and the every little day items that we don't think about that makes a huge impact. So yeah, it's definitely created a huge awareness for him. And then he tells his friends about it, indirectly doesn't know it. So it definitely creates a great domino effect where people are learning from his experience indirectly.
That's incredible. Wonderful. So hopefully, and like I said, we'll follow up with some ways to get involved in these organizations and with these wonderful parents and leaders. But we're going to get into some of the discussion, panel discussion. And Aureal, you probably dovetailed really well into our first question, which is, why do you choose to reduce single-use plastics as a parent? I mean, you're possibly the most busy humans on the planet. I'm not a parent yet, but it's not always the easiest thing to do. Why do you choose that path?
Well, originally I did it for my son because I wanted him to have a better future. That was my original reason. But then as I dug deeper, I was like, if we don't all come together and do this as a whole, we really can't make the impact that I would hope that our children can live in a better world, a world where they don't have to see everything in a magazine because it went extinct, or a world where they don't have to have this special diet because everything that they eat has microplastic in it. just a world of more simplicity and peace in general. So that's why I decided to make it my initiative to teach him and to teach myself and constantly educate ourselves on what we can do to make first of all, a better present, because we can't have a better future if we don't change the present. So everyone says for future generations, but if we don't address the present, our future can't be better. So definitely for the present and of course for the future.
Awesome answer, Ariel. Who wants to go next after that? No, Megan, do you want to share your why?
I think, gosh, so many reasons. I think for cloth diapering specifically, a lot of families actually choose cloth diapers to save money when living a plastic-free life can oftentimes be way more expensive than living a single-use plastic life. So it's kind of a weird way to like come into the plastic-free world in parenting. But I think, environmental is a huge, environmental reasons are a huge reason that people cloth diaper. And I think, people knowing the impact that a single-use plastic or a disposable diaper has on the environment, and the fact that they take 500 years or more to degrade in a landfill, and the first disposable diaper that was ever created on this planet is still sitting in a landfill and will be for centuries, is kind of mind-blowing. And so when I learned that, it was like, not only do I not want harsh chemicals like chlorine and other disgusting chemicals on my baby's body, I also don't want this one diaper that I changed for the first time to go in a landfill and stay there forever. And when we think about the thousands of diapers we go through when we have a handful of children, it's mind blowing. And I think that's what really brought me to this space. And I'm grateful for that realization. And I do my best to make a difference.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's really sad to hear about 500-year-old diapers. Most people don't want them to be around for any time. So, Meenal?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of share my experience. I grew up in India, and when I was a little girl, I saw when other moms were raising their kids, there was not nearly as much plastic as it is now. And it just shocked me to see how much today's parenting involved disposables in general, and not having seen that as a child, and now just suddenly realizing that when I become a parent, this is how much waste I will create, scared me. And then at the same time, putting all that burden onto my kid to deal with that mess, I think was one of the important reasons I was like, something somewhere got disconnected from when I was a little girl to when I became a parent. There was that huge change into the shift of disposables. And I think that was one of the reasons I wanted to stick to that route of just living low waste parenting lifestyle.
That's incredible. Yeah, the contrast is amazing, and not in a good way. But Jenna?
Yeah, I mean, same kind of things for me. Like becoming a parent really brings everything into light, because you do want to leave a better world for these people that you're bringing into the world. But I've always found, like in any advocacy that I get involved in, like I find the personal responsibility piece to be like really inspiring, as opposed to, I know some people are like, what can I possibly do? I'm one person. But for me, it's always just been like, look at all the things I can do as one person. Like I have so many individual choices I get to make, like throughout every single day. That's so many chances to get it right. And I find it just so inspiring to have that responsibility and to like feel like I can make a difference in that way, whether it's being plastic free or anything you're involved in, like being a good parent. We get a lot of chances, and I think it's great to just do your best over and over, and just to learn every day. Like we'll never stop learning ways to be better as sustainable parents, as people, and the best we can do is just support each other in ways like this. And I think that's really inspiring.
Okay, that's awesome. You are aware that all four of you, that's like the warm-up question, right? Like you just hit that out of the park. That was awesome. So let's get to some other topics that some of those here tonight who registered kind of presented. And when you registered, you had a chance to ask a question. And there was kind of some themes, so we're going to try to address those themes. But one of those seemed to be pretty heavily focused on getting other folks on board. So whether that's your co-parent, whether that's your family members or your neighbors next door who sometimes watch your kid. So the first question that I have is, how do you get your family members on board with more sustainable practices? And I'll open that up to whoever wants to go first.
I love this topic. It's like my favorite.
All right, I can see you bursting.
Year has taught us like a lot about setting boundaries and working with our families, and I don't know, just having to like set boundaries in new ways, because we're like, okay, you know, maybe grandma watches our kids, but like we have so many new things we are comfortable and uncomfortable with. But aside from even setting those boundaries, I think a good place to start is like just being a good advocate for this kind of lifestyle isn't going to be something that you're going to be able to push on a family member. I feel like the best thing you can do is just to set the best example for this lifestyle that you can, and show how it like brings peace in your life and is really inspiring to you, and like how it just positively impacts your family and the world, and how it's not a burden and it's not like really difficult and you're not miserable living this way. And I feel like when you act like that, as opposed to being pushy or preachy or like, these are our rules, like how dare you buy these fruit snacks, like what is this water bottle, like all these things, like people are going to come to you, especially the people closest to you are going to come and ask questions and be like, oh, well, how do you do this? Like, how do you make these certain things? Or how do you prepare these certain foods? Or like, oh, your kid's like super stoked about doing these things. Like, and it's going to like inspire them to do it in their own way. And it might not be the same as yours. So if I'm really pushy with grandma and grandpa, they're just going to be like, this is insane. We parented you fine. Like, stop being crazy and like insulting our way of parenting. But they're like, oh, like we do sustainable things too. Like we're gardening with, you know, the grandkids. Like, I don't do that. So it like gives them the permission to be a part of the sustainable family in their own way and not just your way. And I think that's a great place to start, but maybe someone else has some other ideas.
Jenna, I totally agree with that. And especially coming from a cloth diapering perspective, a lot of these older adults in our lives see us in their minds like struggling using cloth diapers because it's like a hassle, or it's, you know, why would you choose that when there's this convenient disposable option? Because they went through hand washing their diapers and hanging them on a line, and like we have a much more modern option now that a lot of you know, those of a different generation don't even know about. So when I show them like a modern cloth diaper, their eyes light up and they're like, this is nothing like what I ever used. And so that's inspiring to them. I think you know, just like, I just think, you know, a cool like reusable water bottle that has a pretty like floral print on it, like that's so much more meaningful to carry around and use every day than like a single-use plastic water bottle. I think people are inspired when they see that, like, where'd you get that cool water bottle? It's like, I don't know. I just think that's something too, where when we have these beautiful products that we hold and we keep and we use for a really long period of time and they hold up over time, they're really high quality. I think that's inspiring to those who maybe have never experienced using these reusable products before, like beautiful reusable paper towels. They're not paper towels, they're reusable towels, but we like, you know, they're marketed as like a cloth paper towel. people think they're so pretty and want to use them because they're just so much better than just throwing away a bleached piece of paper that they're never going to see again. So I totally agree with you on that.
So yeah, I love the idea, and I think it expands even beyond parenting, but of just kind of being that example and welcoming people and celebrating their wins with them. I think that's really important. Have you, I'm sure you all have had to get into the confrontation, or have maybe had an example where your values were tested a little bit? And I guess beyond just being the example, is there a way that you engage when your values are tested by another family member?
I can say something on this. I guess I just try to be optimistic as possible because people will only see from their perspective. So once you learn that people will only see from their perspective, and instead of not taking it personal, I think things become a lot better. So like I've even had people ask me like, "Oh, you're just one person. Like, what is this gonna do?" Or like you're never gonna see the difference in your lifetime. So then I say, "Oh, that's great, but let's hope that your kids or my kids do." Like so I always try, or what's the saying, kill them with kindness. So I always try to kill people with kindness and then leave it on an optimistic side. So it leaves the ball in their court to really check themselves and see their own point of view and see like, hey, maybe I was wrong, or maybe I could do this. Because if you come at it aggressive with them, it's only going to fuel the fire. It's not going to calm it. So I always try to come at things and understand that you have to meet people where they are. And if they're willing to, if you see the situation, to possibly educate them, maybe on a subject that they're interested. So, like, let's just say they really love the turtles, then you can educate them on, hey, did you know about this educational organization called For Ocean that, takes all this plastic out the ocean and saves the turtle? Like hit people where they are, and leave them on an optimistic note.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I really
Meena?
agree with Aureal on that thing. I think I have experienced that anytime people think or argue about how big of this problem this is and how my own actions are not making a dent, I always kind of try to tell that all the big problems, global problems, are solved at the local level. There is no single problem that's globally challenging that you can solve globally. It has to come. We've seen it with COVID-19 now, how this global pandemic really boils down to what you're doing at your local community, your local city level regulations, and similar thing goes to plastic too. So I think usually I try to tell them that this is how we can solve it by locally. I also try to meet people where they are at their journey always. So if someone is already where I am and challenging me, or someone is really just not aware of this plastic issue or don't think that that should be the priority, I don't try to bring them where I am, but meet them where they are. And I think that's an important thing, if you want to include everybody in our journey as a plastic free world. So keeping that in mind is, I think, really important. I also try to never really suggest anything unless people ask. And they always ask if you don't say a word. It's that curious thing. If you try to just say, hey, I don't use this, we've had so many times when we're at the playground and parents are with the plastic water bottle, and I never once have said to them, have you considered switching to the water bottle? But my son has a big water bottle with stickers, and that always gets attention, like, oh, cool stickers. And like, then they always will somehow ask you for like, how does he keep this with, like, we lose ours or whatever. So I don't just poke a conversation about something like that. I always wait for them to come, and it's always the best way I have found to engage meaningful way.
That's incredible. It's so tempting to do though. For normal humans like me, I guess. But no, that's awesome advice. So I want to get into the other kind of grouping of questions that we seem to get, and that was, we're going to call it kind of plastic-free hacks, the parents edition. And we'll kind of cover these quickly, maybe 1 or 2 responses per, and then hopefully that'll leave us a few minutes for some live audience questions. So first one is, when things get busy, one of the first things that slips in our home is foods. How do you mitigate single-use plastics from things like convenience foods while keeping your family happy on the go? And I wanted to start with this one with Aureal.
So I am very busy. Most moms are very busy, especially me. I'm a construction worker, a business owner, and a mother. So I know that most people probably don't food prep, but I definitely food prep in order to avoid having to go to convenience stores. But one of the other things that I like to do to make sure that I shop plastic free is I shop local at different farmers market. So most farmers, they have everything just on the counter or in a box for you to pick, but they will also probably put it in a plastic bag for it to go. So I would always encourage people, in order to avoid the plastic bag or whatever bag that they're providing, is to bring your own bag. And if you don't have one, I do have a resource that will be provided in this presentation on how you can use some old cloth that you're not using and make a produce bag out of it. So, and make it cool, do it with your kids, let them pick it out, let them, paint it, draw it, whatever, get creative with it. But yeah, definitely try to always have fresh fruits and vegetables to avoid the plastic packaging, or shop at the Glass Pantry.
Yes, awesome. And Jenna, I know you probably know one or two things about where to find some good plastic-free snacks, but I actually had a different type of question for you if you're game.
Go for it.
So wanted to know, how would you find, or how do you go about finding and choosing an eco-friendly daycare, or a daycare that works with some of your values?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is where you just kind of have to do the research. But I would encourage you, if there's a place you're looking at that's like really convenient or close to home, just reach out to the director, which is what we did. And I've done it with several places. So my son is at Milwaukee Montessori, but I've talked to like the Nestling House, Tiny Green Trees. I know Casa Corazon has a great cloth diaper program. But I don't know if my son's daycare had like protocols set up around cloth diapering. But I was just like, I reached out and in a really nice way, framed it in a way that was like, hi, just making sure that sending my son with cloth diapers is great. I'll be sending all of the things that you'll need, like the wet bag, the wipes, whatever. Like, just wanted to run this by you before I send them. And so then they're just like, oh, like, it's easier to frame it that way than to set them up for the immediate no, because it makes them think like, oh, if she's going to make it just as easy, like, that sounds good. So I would encourage you to just reach out. There are daycares that already are really plastic free and really good at this, but it doesn't mean that others can't be good too if we just approach them about it.
I love that. Yeah, nice to show that you're doing some of the work. Meagan, I bet you have some things to add to this.
Yeah, I wanted to add that in the state of Wisconsin, you are allowed to bring cloth diapers to any daycare. So even if they tell you no, daycare licensing in the state of Wisconsin allows cloth diapers. So there are some rules. So if you are using cloth diapers, you most likely have to bring an individual bag for each soiled diaper. So whether that be individual small wet bags or maybe plastic bags, if that's all you have, but you may be required to have a bag for each diaper change. However, they can't deny you use of cloth diapers in daycares. So advocating for yourself and your beliefs and the health of your child is something that you can be empowered to do, and the law allows it. So I say go for it.
Boom, that's awesome. All right, and then another question is, any tips for where to get plastic-free meals when cooking is not an option? And I'll toss this up to Meenal.
Well, there are many wonderful places you can get the plastic-free meals, and you might be aware of the lake-friendly certification program that plastic-free MKE launched, which was inspired by ocean-friendly restaurant certification, which requires restaurants to use non-plastic to-go containers. So if you go to the plastic-free MKE's website, there's a list of restaurants that offer that zero waste option. Pre-COVID, you could actually just take your containers and have them put your stuff in it. Everything has changed since then. So what you could do is, what I have tried to do is, now they're allowing you to dine in. So if you order something and you're allowed to take the leftovers in your own container, they cannot deny you that. So if you must take out something and the restaurant does not offer you the plastic-free option, order it for dine in and put it in your container and take it home, or eat it right there too. That's also an option.
Yeah,
But
never makes it to leftovers when it hits
Yeah.
my plate, but
yeah. Another thing I quickly recommend is not going during the busy hours and still trying to put the food in your own containers. That has worked for me many, many times. Just not going into the rush hour when the servers and the chef don't have time to think about it. They're more flexible when they're not that busy. So thinking of that too is a great idea.
that's awesome. Wonderful. Well, that takes us through kind of the preset questions and gives us some time where we can start to answer some audience directed questions. And let's see if we have, I don't know, Anna or Aaron, do you know if we have any in the chat or how we can do this?
I'm not seeing any in the chat right now, but I would invite folks listening, if you do have any questions right now, that you could throw those in the chat. And in the meantime, if we want to give folks some time to do that, we could always go, oh, Bree's on top of it. All right, we do have a question.
Awesome. Otherwise, yeah, I've got one or two.
Yeah, we already have one question. So Stephen, I'll let you take over again from here because you're.
I can't see it in my chat, so.
Oh, you're not. Oh, okay.
For
Oh,
some
she
reason.
sent it. Okay, they sent it directly to me. So I'll read it out then. So Bree is asking, where do we begin if we are new to cloth diapering? And I think it's obvious who should be answering that one.
It's me, if you didn't know. Thank you for your question, Bree. There are a couple of different, there are a million different resources that I'm happy to share that can be sent out later. But we teach virtual cloth diaper classes. Milwaukee Diaper Mission hosts those classes. We try to do them monthly, and those are for families who are receiving cloth diaper kits from us, but also open to the general public. So if you are looking into investing in your own cloth diapers and starting to use those as a new parent or as an existing parent, we have that really simple cloth diaper basics that runs you through every style and material and how to wash them, how to fit them on your baby, how to advocate for using cloth diapers in a world where they're not necessarily considered mainstream. So that's definitely a resource for you. There are tons of websites and Facebook groups, and that, while it's amazing to have access to all that information, it can be really overwhelming, and there are some pretty strong opinions out there on the internet, as with any topic. So I always recommend that you kind of just like do a little bit of your own research, but then reach out to a local person or organization for advice and talking to local parents. So we have a Facebook group called Milwaukee Cloth Diaper that is a really welcoming and nurturing environment where local families can have discussions about using cloth diapers. They can buy and sell them, and it's a really nice environment. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but you're also welcome to email me anytime and I'd be happy to help you out.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan. So
Cloth diapers too. So come
yeah, Jenna.
if you have questions too. I have learned everything I know from Megan, but do the classes in person. But and she used to lead the new parent group at the Bayview Community Center, which is how we know each other. But we have cloth diapers at the Glass Pantry too, and I am happy to sit here and talk your ear off about them.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that. So we're really lucky that Milwaukee now has a store that carries cloth diapers in person. For a while, you had to resort to like Amazon or some other online, purchasing, but now you can actually go to a store, look at them, manipulate them, learn about them, and you have an amazing local mom store owner that can help you. So yes, go to Glass Pantry.
Awesome. Thank you. So the next question that we're getting through, we've got two of them related to toys. And we're going to start with, how do you talk about toys, or can we talk about toys for kids? They all seem to be plastic based. How do you choose? And then part B, and I'll just leave it up to whoever wants to start, would be, how do you respond to your kids about their desire to throw away toys that are made of plastic?
I can start if you want.
Please.
So there are better options than plastic based. Just to name one, there's this new Lego by Norman and Jules, and it's made out of sustainable wood, and it's Legos. So it's the same thing, but it's just made sustainably out of wood. So there's always a better alternative, and I always encourage people to do a little bit digging, because usually whatever there is in plastic, they have it in a better alternative, and sometimes it's even cheaper. And for my son personally, who wants to shoot away toys that are no longer in trend or they're not cool anymore, I always tell him, I said, everything that you do has a just a cause and a reaction to it. So if you no longer want it, do you think someone else can use it? And the answer is always yes, someone else can always reuse it. So most of the time, I let him choose the place where he would like to donate his toys to, so he feels good for not shooting away and letting it be reused. So the other year, we donated to a women's shelter where they specifically had kids. So he was able to see how his toys were reused and not just shot away and given that second life.
I would say too, like, even if it is like a plastic toy that they really want, like, I seriously have never not been able to find something secondhand. Like, I've gotten Brooder trucks on Facebook Marketplace. Like, yes, they're plastic. It's not perfect, but if that's like the one thing they really want, like, just try it. There's so many used toys out there that you can usually find something. Like, yeah, they can't have it like right now you're in Target, but it's at least some kind of compromise. Or sometimes we're just like, okay, if you really want like that little plastic push lawnmower, we're gonna go to Ruckus and Glee. We're gonna go to a locally owned toy shop, and at least it's a little bit of a compromise. Like, it's not from Amazon. So I know there's like a gradient here, but sometimes you're desperate.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
agree.
makes sense.
I think if Cycle has been a wonderful resource for many of us here. I have not bought a single toy, Lego ever brand new. It was all hand me down. A lot of pieces are missing, but they build their own designs. They come up with their own solutions. So I think hand me downs or secondhand is the best option for certain toys that you just want to have, like magnet tiles or whatever, like marble runs. There's like a million other things that you can get come in plastic. I think second thing would be also just to make sure that you also pass it on when you're done too. So you do the same thing. There's Buy Nothing group in Shorewood where everything is shared for free. Just resisting the urge to buy new, I think, is the key. Sometimes you can't win the plastic battle. It's not, you don't want to take that privilege away from your child to explore and enjoy. And you have to find that right balance when everybody else is doing something and you constantly keep saying no to everything that comes in plastic. Eventually they're going to start hiding it from you. and so
I also think that most of the time as parents, if a kid really wants something and you wait a few days and they no longer want it, then you won. I don't know how else to say that. I don't know if that's just a parent insider, but most of the time if they really, really want it right now and they don't want it days later, then they didn't really want it.
Yeah.
Also kids oftentimes, like, they don't know if something is brand new in the packaging. When you give it to them, you can find a used toy on KidCycle or Craigslist or at a garage sale, and they're not like looking for that like plastic packaging to rip open. They just want the toy. So like they don't know it came from another family. They don't know it was used. Although that's a great conversation to have with your child, is like, another child used this and loved it and they sent it to us so that we could enjoy it. And now when you're done with it, we can pass it on to your baby brother or to your neighbor or someone else. So there's opportunity for a bigger conversation there too, I think.
That's great. No, all of that's awesome information. And would you all regard your children as still being cool, even if they don't have brand new toys all the time?
Coolest. We have the coolest. I think
I bet.
Another thing I think I want to share is like something I have with my son is he can't have a new toy until he gives away one new toy or 5. Sometimes it depends on what he's looking for. So he has to give away on KidCycle or Buy Nothing something that he no longer finds joy in, and then he can get. So that way you're kind of keeping it also all under control.
Wonderful. And it's called KidCycle?
Yeah, KidCycle, where
Awesome.
you can basically buy, sell, give away, whatnot.
That's great. Maybe someone could throw that in the chat if someone hasn't heard of it. I also like Legos, so that could be useful for me. All right, so we've got about 4 minutes left in our webinar, and I want to make sure that we give each of you an opportunity to say, how can they get involved in what you're doing, or give a tip on how people can get involved in what you're doing. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. So we can start with Meenal because you're on my screen.
Sounds good. Well, you all know how to get involved with Plastic Free MKE. Sign up for the newsletter, join Facebook group, and in your personal life, I think just leading it by example, creating your own family rules. I've always tried to tell people, my son never had a birthday party where he received gifts. And the family members are only allowed to gift experiences. So they can buy tickets to the museum or, to the train ride or whatever they want, but they cannot buy gifts to Meagan. And, we try to do the same thing for other families too, just, lead it by example. If there's birthday parties are such a big thing where you're in the spot and you cannot say no to things. So we have always tried to say, instead of a party favor, can he have an extra cookie or a cupcake? So come up with your own ideas and forgive yourself. I think that's one of the things. If you have to buy something that's in plastic, just take a deep breath and say, I'll compensate somewhere else.
Yeah.
So,
Coming back to, we started this with kindness and compassion toward yourself. We're all on a journey, right?
It's not made easy for us. It shouldn't be that way, but currently the responsibility is on us and not for the manufacturer. So until that changes, just take it slow and steady. And
Awesome.
I'm here if you have any questions.
Thanks, Meenal. Aureal?
Can you repeat the question again? Because I was listening to her. I forgot what the question was.
No worries, no worries. Well, I forgot the question now. No, how can people get involved with Outwoken, and what's one step that you think that people can get involved in plastic-free parenting?
Definitely. Well, to get involved with Outwoken, I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google my business. It's very easy to find me. It's just Outwoken Tea everywhere you go. But just in order to be more sustainable and eco-conscious, really, I always just encourage people to take it step by step. Like really just take it step by step and make a goal. Like I want to reduce the Ziploc bags, and then find a way to replace the Ziploc bags with a beeswax reusable wrap or something. Just start so small that when you make achievements, you feel so proud of yourself, instead of looking at this massive picture like, oh my goodness, this mountain. So I always just encourage the micro baby steps that are self-rewarding and full of achievements for everyone. I think it's fulfilling.
Wonderful tip, wonderful tip. All right, Megan?
Thank you. So thanks everyone for being here. Milwaukee Diaper Mission is always looking for folks in the neighborhood to donate, to volunteer with us, to help simply just share our posts and spread the word about the work that we're doing. So we're on Instagram and Facebook at Milwaukee Diaper Mission. You can email us, and I get all of the emails. So it's hello@milwaukeediapermission.org. And I just want to say that when you're navigating, trying to figure out a more plastic-free approach to parenting, remember to give yourself some grace. Meenal was just talking about, no single-use plastics for birthday presents and party favors, and I just realized that I bought some party favors for my son's birthday party, and they're plastic, and you have to remember that you can't do it all. We're not able to give cupcakes at parties right now because of COVID, so my mind just went to some little yo-yos and bubbles for them to blow, and those are single-use plastics, and that's a bummer, but I'm doing the best I can, and you all are doing the best that you can, and we're just trying to survive this world, and any little step you can take and any little extra thought you can have makes a big difference.
Amazing. Yeah, being here right now, awesome step forward, right? So Jenna, take us home.
Yeah, thank you guys. This has been super fun. I want to do this every week. Yeah, we're open at the Glass Pantry every day but Monday, so you can stop by and see us. And yeah, just echoing what everyone has already said, give yourself grace, and you're doing awesome, and just pick the things that you find super inspiring. Living a sustainable life is not doing one thing. So there's so many ways that you can contribute to a sustainable world. And you're doing yourself a disservice if you're doing something you hate. So pick the thing that you find the most inspiring, and that will just be magnetizing to other people. I promise you. You'll just radiate all the good vibes. We all know those people who are just so aligned with who they are and just living their best life. And that's all we can do, and it takes a lot of the pressure off. You don't have to change anybody else. You just have to focus on being the best person you can be every day.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, the four of you, for the privilege to have this conversation with you tonight and to learn. And yeah, we will send out resources. Any questions that you have afterwards, feel free to reach out to us via Plastic Free MKE, and we can extend your questions to any of our presenters today. So thank you so much, and everyone stay safe, be well.